hopefully my thought process there might help you and give you some other ideas and thoughts on how to get through and select your best images out of a sequence as well.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. It really makes me wonder. Ooh, I wonder.
Hey there! I hope you enjoyed the little moose sequence. So the moose sequence was taken back in December prior to getting the Nikon Z9, which is filming this right now. So it was shot with the Sony A1, which is a wonderful camera, and so is the Nikon Z9. But I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about moose. And I'm going to do something a little bit different. I don't believe I've done something like this before, but I kind of wanted to run through like an image selection and kind of talk you through what I'm thinking about when I'm looking through my images after coming home from a shoot. So I took a little, the video I shot was over the course of hours, but I took a little sequence here that lasted about 2 minutes of one of our big bull moose that the locals call Hoback, named by Mike Jackson, one of our local photographers. And anyway, Hoback is one of our beautiful big bulls. So I took a sequence of photos of him, and I wanted to show you kind of my thought process of those photos, what I was thinking, and as I'm looking through them, trying to select kind of the best photo from that sequence, and then how to edit it. And honestly, I don't have to do much to this one, editing-wise. So anyway, let's just start. This was about 2 minutes worth of real-life stuff, and I have 26 photos here to look at. So here they are in the Lightroom grid. I'm going to open up the first one of the sequence. So here he is. This is Hoback. And beautiful morning, lovely snow. I'll bring up the info real quick there. So here are the settings. This is the Sony A1 with the 400mm 2.8, shot at 2.8, ISO 1600, 1/1250th of a second. So ISO 1600 on this camera is no problem at all. 12/50th of a second is plenty fast for this. I did have a reasonably high shutter speed there for a slow-moving subject because the subject was reasonably close. And I don't want to have any motion blur as the animal gets closer, kind of the faster shutter speed you need. So I'm totally safe on the shutter speed, no problem at all. But anyway, here's photo number one. So he was kind of grazing, he lifted his head up, and that's when I started. And so I shot a few photos there. There's the first 4 photos I shot horizontally. None of them are particularly compelling other than it's a beautiful bull, beautiful environment with his head up. As I zoom in here 1-to-1, you can see his eyes nice and sharp. He's got all this amazing snow and frost on his fur and up in his antlers. And he's really cool looking, right? So anyway, he's got his head up. It's a beautiful scene. Click, 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 click. And then he starts moving. I have now rotated to a vertical orientation here. And because it looked like he was going to come at me, and with the fixed focal length, I can't zoom out to fit him in the frame. So I wanted to get ahead of the curve, shift vertically. With him coming straight at me, that fits the vertical quite well. So that was my thinking there. So I shifted to vertical, shot a few frames. He came this way, then he started kind of wandering back the other way after a minute. So same thing, I'm just trying to keep him in the frame here. I kind of know I'm going to crop this image later. So I left a little bit of room at the bottom, more than I would like, honestly. But this is what I'm shooting. Now these first few, I don't like them. That one, because we've got all this snow and sagebrush blocking a big chunk of his body. So I shoot 3 frames and he's got that snow and stuff blocking him down here. And now he comes out from behind that. Now I've got a beautiful leg position here as well. So this, I actually like this photo. This is a good, solid photo. I would want to crop this either as a square for Instagram, or I would crop out a bunch of this snow at the bottom. So I would be thinking more like that for a final crop. So I'm kind of making a mental note here, but I don't like how his nose now is being blocked by some sagebrush and snow. So I'm going to keep moving. This is not my favorite photo of the sequence because of that now, but I do love his leg position. And now I've moved again. So now he's kind of coming back straight at me. So I've done a good job of keeping him framed here. I've got this distracting piece of sagebrush out here. But if this is my final select image, I would crop that out, and I would crop some of that sky out of the way too. So I would just tighten this frame up a little bit on him. But this is a great frame. We've got a good foot position here, a dynamic movement with his leg coming forward. Let's see if his eyes are open. His eyes are open and nice and sharp. That looks really good. Can see that beautiful drop tine that is very indicative that that's hoback. So I like this image as well. Now here's another one that's almost identical. I actually like, which one? Geez. I think I like this one a little bit better. The muscles and stuff over here make him feel a little bit stronger and bulkier to me. Very subtle difference. So either one of those I'd be happy with. Now he's stopped. And let's look and see what he's looking at. He's looking kind of straight at me there. So this one, again, is great. Good pose, well composed. I don't love this piece of sagebrush and snow here again, but still pretty good. I would crop this differently to kind of reframe him and tighten up a little bit. And now here we are. Now look on the left side of the screen here. We've got another bull moose joining into the frame here. So I shoot a few frames of this, but I'm well aware that that thing's there. I could still crop that bull out when I tighten this up, so this could still be a really nice frame. He's looking straight at the camera, nice and sharp. It actually missed a little bit here. I think it back focused on him back here. So, you know, even the amazing Sony A1 will miss once in a while. And so this one is definitely back focused. So this one is now out. Not going to be one of my favorites. Now the next frame, you can see how just this frame to this frame, boom, it is now in focus on his eyes again. So the Sony A1 picked it back up. So I like this frame better than the last one, and I could still crop that bull out a little bit if I wanted to, just tighten everything up. So this has good potential. Same problem with this piece of snow. Now he's moved again. He's coming back left. I like this leg position, a nice dynamic leg position here. Beautiful. Eye is sharp. This snow over here and ice on him is incredible. Just lovely, beautiful snow piling up on his antlers. So this is great. I would crop out this little piece of this bull moose over here and probably crop it from the bottom here. And it would look great. So this one's now a contender, looks really good. This one's very similar. Which one of these do I like best? I think this one, because it'll be easier to crop this thing out. You know, you could also do, you could lasso that and do a content aware fill in Photoshop. That would be great. Let's make sure, yep, that's all sharp as a tack. So I don't know, this one maybe has a little bit more dynamic foot position. I'm gonna go with this one though, so I don't have to bring it into Photoshop and do a content aware fill. So that's now the leader. But now he's moved again, and then that bull that was behind him is now trailing him. So I realized that's another compositional element, and I rotated my camera back to horizontal. So I could capture both of them in the frame. And obviously I'm focusing on the big guy in front. And this is a very nice image. One thing I don't love is that their antlers are kind of overlapping right here. I love that their bodies aren't overlapping. There's space there, but there's a little bit of overlap there that I don't love. So hopefully I have one where that isn't the case. Here he is now. I actually like this one better because if you look, I'm going to go back. He's kind of facing away from the camera to my right. And now he's like looking straight at me. So I like this better. We still got that little overlap here, but we've got a nice gap there. So I really like that. Same thing, same thing, same thing. Okay, and then we're kind of over. So that sequence is, there they are. Now, this is the last frame in that sequence of photos where I've got both bulls. Now, in a perfect world, like there, he's looking a little bit off camera. There, he's looking straight at me, straight at me, straight at me. And then he's got his foot starting to come up as well. So this is kind of a tougher call for me. I like the foot lifting up is a little more dynamic, but the only thing I don't like about this whole series is that there's this overlap between the antlers. So I just have to accept, because I love this, having two bull moose in the frame and showing how big hoback is compared to the other bull moose. The environment's beautiful, background's great. The 2.8 just blew it apart and made it nice and smooth and lovely. So I love these photos. I just got to pick which one I like the best. I would just make sure they're all sharp as a tack on his eye real quick. Yep. Yep. That one's a little off. Yep. Yep. Okay, so the last one is going to be my favorite. It's sharp as a tack. I like that he's looking more straight at the camera and he's got this foot up just a little bit. So this so far is my favorite one. I'm going to keep going. There are a few more that I took in this sequence. Now he's moved and crossed in front of the other bull, and you can see the other bull back here. And I don't like that. That's kind of confusing and distracting to me. Same thing here. We've got this weird moose paddle sticking out. You can't even see the moose, so that's no good. You know, it's beautiful. The snow on him and the ice dripping off of his face and up on his head is great, but too distracting back there for me. Let's see. Here we are. I've gone now back to vertical because he's getting so close. It's hard to, I can't fit his feet in the frame, you know, barely fitting them there, and so I switched to vertical so I can get a little more space. Now I've cut off his butt a little bit there, which is, you know, I had just enough room over here. I could have probably fit him all in there, but I'm just going to crop it to be less awkward with just cutting off that little chunk, and I'll show you what I mean. Now here we've got a little more dynamic leg position. I don't love this one. It's a little awkward. That one's better. And that's the last one in the frame. So this one is a really nice photo. I love that you can see his eyes there. Everything's tack sharp. I would crop this. I'm just going to show you what I would do to crop this and to make this crop a little less awkward. I would crop it more like that. So instead of just cutting off a tiny slice of his butt there, I would probably crop in a little bit this way as well. He's still got room for his feet to breathe. So instead of just cropping off a tiny little slice of his butt, I'm going to try and crop off a bigger chunk, but I don't want to turn him into a three-legged moose by cropping that whole leg out, you know, something like that. I'd rather see all four legs than have a three-legged moose there. Okay? But anyway, let's go back to what I have now decided is my favorite image of this sequence, and that is this one. And so to process this, all I've done, I imported it in and I just lifted the shadows 25 points. And everything else is just standard. So pretty easy to process. I had my exposure locked in and it was all great. I love the exposure there. The image is good to go like this. I would probably crop it just a little bit tighter like that as a horizontal. I think that works great and it's beautiful. And for Instagram, I would crop this as a square. And actually it works really well as a square, even if I'm not gonna do it for Instagram's sake. I'm gonna crop it square anyways. And I really like that photo as a square crop. Okay, so anyway, you know, that's a lot of rambling there, but a lot of those thoughts are going through my head, and I do that much faster when I'm not trying to explain it. So I'm used to doing this all the time, so it kind of just becomes second nature, and I can zip through those real quick, and just at a glance, I can go like, no, 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 because I'm seeing like, you know, those things are overlapping, and I cut off his feet, or I cut off his ass, or whatever. Those things are happening kind of bang, 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 bang. So I can zip through those real quick. But hopefully my thought process there might help you and give you some other ideas and thoughts on how to get through and select your best images out of a sequence as well. And of course, all of this stuff is subjective. You know, you might not be bothered by the piece of sagebrush in front of them or by the antlers overlapping or whatever. This is all totally subjective. It's your art, it's your photography. I'm just describing how I'm thinking, and then hopefully you can translate that into your own photography as well. So anyway, kind of a unique video. I hope you liked it. Give me some feedback on that if you enjoyed this kind of content, and I can do a couple more because, you know, everything's so different whether you're working with a moose or a landscape or a bird in flight or whatever. We're looking for different things, you know, in the background and in the position of the wings, for instance, or, you know, whatever. So I'd be happy to do some more of these if I get some good feedback that you guys find that helpful. Okay, so take care. I'm off to Africa in a week from tomorrow. So I'm going to try and get another video, maybe a random ramble out before I leave for Africa. And I'm psyched. So I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And please have a great day. See you next time. Bye.